Up and coming, over here it's the one and only Forest 3, which is another survival horror from End Night that looks like it's, trading cannibals for monsters and some mud swamp horrors this time. We're gonna be using energy weapons and scavenge for whatever passes as, supplies. There's a spaceship involved, some sci-fi tech, and apparently a new way to manage tasks instead of scribbled notes. Alien landscapes, tentacles, and a weird world. It's just a game wants you unsettled at all times. No release date yet, likely PC first, still early days right now. It's pretty hard to tell how combat and exploration will feel, but if you like the last two games, this will probably hit the same spot.
She's ready.
What's your code name?
Winter.
You ventured this far to find us. What's your purpose?
To prove what they said was a lie.
District 30 is now complete under Project Retrograde. The Lux system is about to begin trial runs in newly developed areas.
Mara, we gotta
We have some breaking news.
Following reports of unusual cases, officials assure us the cause has been identified. All residents, please head to local quarantine zone.
You see that?
Nice work, Hunter.
Yeah, I got it done. But I don't know. Is that me or him?
Find that surface agent. She can help.
What's the target?
Sean Anderson. He's behind the recent mutation.
And they sent you in alone?
That's not relevant to you. Follow me, and don't die.
Bounty hunter and a surface agent. Interesting. Bring him in. Time to put down these rats.
I've got a bad feeling.
What?
Lobo's gone silent. If Sean turns against us, we're in trouble.
Winter, come in.
Is that Lobo? The whole underground was infested. They abandoned us, slandered us. Wait, who are you?
It's you.
Yeah. Not now!
What? What?
I need us to survive.
Soon, you will all be one of us!
You are going to hell.
Can you still be yourself?
I don't know. If I lose control, just kill me.
I will.
Now on another angle, we have the game Project Retrograde, The Becoming. It's a survival game that clearly takes notes from classic Resident Evil games, but, pushes things in a different direction instead. The game is set in 1995, where a ancient parasite has wiped out humanity's last big hope. And you play as a bounty hunter who's already infected, So every power you use is basically a gamble between your survival and losing it. The cool twist here, however, is that this infection lets you absorb combat memories, so you're switching between different fighting styles on the fly all game. Add in some retro tech on the ground weather system and tower exploration, and you know, this thing's shaping out to be a pretty unique apocalyptic adventure. We'll see. You know that sinking feeling when someone steals your loot when you're offline? So Anchor kinda leans into specifically that. It drops you in a 16 square kilometer underwater world with over 150 other players, most of whom aren't exactly friendly. And you're gonna be building bases, craft weapons from shells and metal, and try to avoid sharks that, you know, behave like actual predators, not video game bullet sponge. The ocean, the game's world itself, is not kind in any way. Clone remnants aren't helpful, and alliances even are fragile at best. Server's gonna keep going when you log off, so you know your careful plans can unravel overnight. It's survival, but mostly it's kind of figuring out who to trust, if anyone.
If the world turns cold, if crisis takes hold, if all can be retold, how would you choose? Alone, rebuild, to wilderness, to horizons, lost, maybe the way clears when we walk together, collaborate, fight, side by side, get everything back on track. Allied, united, but people stay the same. We clash.
CrisisX is finally locked in a release window, and it's landing in the second quarter of 2026, and we've got a fresh trailer to hype it up as well. So this one's all about open world survival. You're scavenging loot, smash handling zombies, and stacking resources to keep your base standing. What's actually wild is the crafting skill, like everything from assault rifles to your handmade vehicles, even tanks, are all options on the table. On top of that, survival mechanics like thirst, hunger, and health keep the pressure real. It's definitely shaping up to be one of those sink into hours kind of games, and it's a Microsoft exclusive for now.
Survive your way.
We thought the world would end in fire, but it just slowed, froze, like time holding its breath. I saved a dog once. He saved me every day since.
So Permafrost is basically the long dark on steroids with some Frostpunk level type of bleakness, except you've got a dog companion for some hope. Scavenging, crafting, surviving on your bread and butter on a frozen apocalypse setting, while your companion hauls loot, sniffs the danger, and helps you with, survival skills. Base building, vehicle travel, and co-op keep things fresh here, with the real MVP being your old companion, your dog. Space Rocket Games actually nailed that mix of tension and companionship with this one. Like, danger is real, but at least someone's happy to see you when you just stumble back to the camp. This game is coming out soon to PC and consoles as well.
Permafrost. Wishlist now.
Ferocious is one of those oldest games to have been in development. Now it's finally coming out in 2026. Previously we thought the game is going to be coming out December, but apparently not. It's delayed once again. It's an open world first person shooter where you find yourself shipwrecked on this island where, there's living dinosaurs. Ferocious's environment is actually powered by Unreal Engine 5, and ever since its reveal, it's been fine-tuned to some good measure. And the gameplay emphasizes survival, requiring you to outsmart both humans and dinosaurs, and a whole wide world to explore. Check it out in case you missed it. The game is coming out to PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X as well. Here's a new trailer.
I'm looking for my...
So on another hand, Dread Meridian throws you headfirst into some VR horror cool enough to make panic feel like frostbite. So you play as a researcher that's hunting for some missing twin on a frozen island where science mostly means terrible ideas and even the worst weather. Puzzles, hallucinations, and monsters blur together until you can't tell if you're actually freezing or losing your mind, and the VR detail is just some unnerving stuff. Every creak, whisper, and flicker of light feels like Arctic silently judging your choices. It's survival horror meets absurd misery. If Subnautica had a kind of a psychotic breakdown in Antarctica, this was probably what would have crawled out of it. Coming up behind that, we have Our Darkest Days, the latest entry from Into the Dead series, and hopefully it's now coming out next month. In fact, Darkest Days is a pretty good shift from the franchise's traditional first-person shooting roots into a 2D, 3D, side-scrolling survival experience, and it's set in Texas in 1980, where players guide a group of survivors through a city which has fallen to a zombie outbreak. It now emphasizes scavenging, crafting, and managing the psychological and physical needs of the survivors, with permadeath mechanics that actually add high stakes. Check it out, it's going to be coming out soon. then coming here, we have Restore Your Island. And this thing actually looks like the kind of game where you spend hours just picking up other players' trash and feel vaguely accomplished as well. So you show up on a ruined island with a dog, presumably, one who doesn't judge you for poking at a pile of seaweed for the 10th time, and you're gonna be selling debris, upgrading tools, maybe save an animal or two along the way, slowly turning a wrecked place into something cozy. No competition, no deadliness, just quiet work that somehow counts as progress. So if you've ever wondered what it's just like to be the world's most patient janitor with a very fluffy assistant, this could be it. Although I really like the idea.
Refugees from the neighboring checkpoint. I want you to screen every one of them carefully.
I'm from the central checkpoint. Zombies overran our refugee base. We were waiting for evacuation, and it's a bloodbath now.
I'm getting out of here. I'm saving you, brother. I promised Mom I'd look after you. You do the same for me. This piece of junk won't even start.
Quarantine Zone: The Last Check sounds like a pretty good job where the phrase "trust no one" gets old really fast. So apparently you're running a Russian checkpoint in a zombie apocalypse, deciding who gets through and who stays. Like one slip and the virus just goes and all spreads, and it's just mayhem. There's no hero arc here, just tense paperwork and staring at people until you can tell if they're infected or just hungry. We're gonna be juggling scarce resources, fortified defenses, and probably question your life choices while the undead pile up outside the camp. Anyway, if you've just ever wanted to play a bureaucrat whose mistakes are literal death sentences, this could be, the oddly grim simulator that you've wanted.
Hey.
Hi, Danny. We'll be there in 15 minutes. Get ready.
Danny, do you have to go?
Don't worry, Sarah. I'll be back soon. So, yeah, it's starting to feel real. I mean, me changing diapers at 3 a.m.? That's a serious plot twist in my life.
Winter survival is like the forest, but it's colder, lonelier, and just way more personal. So you're not fighting monsters, you're fighting your own mind while you're freezing your ass off. Hunger, hypothermia, hallucinations are all on the table, hitting harder as the longer you go. Every mistake's gonna make you feel weaker. Every bad decision is gonna literally add new mental perks to ruin your run. The story mode feels grounded, the survival mode lets you craft your own misery, and Cold Wave is basically how long till I lose it in game form. It's pretty rough, it's raw, but it's got that rare psychological edge most survival games actually kind of fake. Coming out to PC sometime next year.
Through hell, but paradise is just ahead. We've buried loved ones along the trail, but hope has never left our side. We face the darkest depths of human nature. The wildlife. The dangerous roads. The beasts of the night. And the angry skies. We knew the West would test us. But the real question is, can this land become our home?
Coming up behind that, we've got the game Westlanders, where you start with a creaky little wagon, a rusty hat, and the vague hope that the Wild West is now gonna chew you up. So you gather, craft, and build, slowly turning some dusty outposts into towns while fending off raiders, wildlife, and bad weather. The survival loop scales pretty fast. You see, what begins as keeping yourself alive quickly turns into managing allies, logistics, and trade networks, all without losing your head. Solo or co-op, the game promises frontier fights with a side of empire building. If you wanted to feel like a pioneer CEO, this might be it.
I want you to remember that no bastard ever won a war by dying for his country. He won it by making the other poor dumb bastard die for his country. We have the finest food and equipment, the best spirit, and the best men in the world. You know, by God, I actually pity those poor bastards we're going up against. We're gonna cut out their living guts and use them to grease the treads of our tanks.
However, in War Mechanic, you seem to show up to tinker with diesel engines, and instead, you somehow end up gunning down robots with some doom weapons. So this thing started as a grim alternative history crafting sim game, then it got retooled into a first-person action survival adventure, because apparently players want action more than reading, black and white propaganda. You're gonna be exploring zones and biomes, manage a base, juggle crafting with combat, all the while piecing together the world's story without anyone holding your hand. Think kind of Mad Max meets Metro Exodus meets Fallout, but with a Polish mechanic in the driver's seat and just a lot more exploding robots.
I'm pretty sure we're trapped in the Chrono Tribes.
What do you mean? How is that possible?
The void claims all trespassers.
I'm afraid the only way to get out of here is to actually pass the trial.
Are you messing with me? This is absolutely mental. Hot enough for you?
Nice job.
Easy peasy. Boom. Right there.
Okay, really watch your step here.
I have a bad feeling about this, Ray.
Unhinged is a first-person survival crafting game where every decision, from scavenging scraps to tackling down trails, can be all the way fatal. So you're trapped in a hostile island, and the Megacorp run an experiment that doesn't care if you end up, surviving. There's a 9 square kilometer map in this game that blends 90s retro futurism, brutalist structures, and sci-fi oddities, creating something, that feels alive and constantly hostile. Single player only, so pretty much all the tension is yours. Unreal Engine 5 is there. It's survival, puzzle solving, and corporate paranoia all roll into about 30 hours of some tense gameplay.
Dude, stop acting so crazy.
Shouldn't have come here.
I swear.
You never should have come back.
I got a message from Mira.
She's been gone a long time. Ran when things got hard. Left the band behind.
I need to know why. Why she vanished when everything was coming together. Isn't that why you're here too?
Did you forget what happened on that night?
on another hand, Liminal Point is a new indie game inspired by Silent Hill, Resident Evil, and Signalis. And frankly, a lot of, in the same vein as the Alien shooters, which, we love a lot. It's a survival horror game, obviously, in which players will assume the role of a female protagonist who has decided to come back to this island where her band's story was, ended pretty tragically. There's a lot of survival elements here in the game, such as limited resources, a minimap, asymmetric view, and a lot of atmosphere tension, lots of enemies, waves. Check it out, it's actually coming out sometime next year into PCs only.
Mira.
What did they do? Weld these things on?
Long gone, though, it looks like a game where the environment does kind of most of the heavy lifting and occasionally tries to kill you as well. So you'll poke around pixel art buildings and switch to fully 3D interiors, solve puzzles, and maybe platform a little while the zombies will shuffle in the background. Guns exist mostly as fragile props that will probably fail when you need them. In fact, the humor kind of seems baked into the soul of the game. The animations, doors, walls, and objects might just judge you as much as the undead does. It's a point-and-click game with a side of existential dread, pretty good for anyone who wants a world that just feels alive, sarcastic, and occasionally lethal as well. Look guys, we'll follow the light, although we have mentioned the game before many times. For those of you who missed it, it's the kind of game where you just spend more time battling natural elements like wind, water, whatever, rather than the actual bad guys. You play as a lighthouse keeper whose son disappears after a disaster, so naturally your solution is to sail across icy seas and rush through the northern wilderness on a dog sled. So you're going to be expecting some puzzles that could double as survival skills, a lot of staring at foggy horizons, and probably a lot of existential contemplation as well. It's got Unreal Engine 5, landscapes look gorgeous, but mostly you're just going to be thinking, why did I ever leave the warmth of my cabin for this adventure, but of course with a side of frostbite. And last but not least, it's the game GRAFT, which is a third-person sci-fi survival horror game where you play as a character stranded on a decaying space station that's just run down by these biochemically enhanced people and, you know, just keep replacing your own body parts to survive. It's kind of Resident Evil meets Dead Space, only with like more movement and RPG customization and some cyberpunk level augmentation. Crafting new abilities changes how you fight, navigate with these wild enemies, hazards, and a meddling AI that makes things much more difficult. Camera leans towards classic over-the-shoulder angles, but with fewer restrictions rather than an old-faced Resident Evil style. No release date yet, but it's worth watching for sure. It's coming to PCs only sometime next year.